Hey everybody, welcome to another episode here of Ontario Landlord Series presented by CRESI. Again, CRESI is an acronym for Complete Real Estate Solutions Investments, and it's about being your complete solution. And not only can I always be your complete solution, sometimes we have to bring in experts that deal with their niche and stuff like that. And that's who we're going to be talking to today, a gentleman named Brad McRae, who specializes in cottage and Airbnb rentals. Cottage rentals is something that I've never done, but I am a renter of a cottage, right? This is something that our family tries to escape to do once a year. And we just got back from our little cottage venture where our week away was. And I think it's great from our point of view as a renter, right? We get to go back to the same place so we feel comfortable with it. And we've gotten to know the area, and it's a great thing to always return. I have a friend who's done the same thing. But anyways, let's get into the nuts and bolts here about how it is on the investment side of being a cottage investor, Airbnb, short-term rental. However, this is all put together. I guess there's multiple ways, but without further ado, Brad McRae, say hi.
Hey, thank you so much for having me here, Kevin. And yeah, as you mentioned, like it's a great solution for both parties. Like for people that need to rent cottages, there will always be a market for it, and that's kind of where this whole investment strategy came in. Was the Muskoka is a great example. Like people have been renting cottages up in the Muskoka for years. Like it's not like this is a new thing with Airbnb that rolled out over the last 7 to 10 years. It's been happening forever. It just makes it much easier to do it because before, if you had a cottage and you wanted to rent it out, it's really only who you know. Like if you know someone that knows someone that wants to rent the cottage, or if you go to like a travel agent, and then there wasn't really a streamlined process to be able to rent out your cottage and make that extra income. But now it is much simpler for, I'm going to say, the everyday owner of a second property or third property, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, again, just personally with myself, I look at a cottage like I look at a dog. I love the idea. I think they're great, but I want you to take care of it. I want you to do everything that needs to be done, and I'll just come by and enjoy
Yeah.
the petting of the dog or whatever, and the enjoyment of the cottage. It's a lot of work. Yeah, and just the time too, right? So if I wanted to get away, some people, myself, our family is once a year, but there's other people that try to get away 4 times a year. So now, if you're going to get away 4 times a year, maybe it makes more sense to buy something, use your 4 weeks at your own place, and then rent out it for the other remainder of the year, whether those four are in the winter or in summer or all season, right? But um,
Exactly.
with with everything now, like you mentioned with Airbnb, and then obviously yourself being a property
Yeah.
manager for this, and I'll let you speak about what you guys do as well here. It makes it more passive for the investor, as you mentioned, more streamlined, easier because, again, like I said, for myself, I don't want the headache and the stress of everything on an extra cottage, maintenance, everything. So, yeah, having something more passive again is a great way.
Perfect.
Why don't you start, I guess, by sharing a little bit about your history, your experiences, and how you help out investors?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So, I have a company called Yours Truly Hospitality, where we specialize in furnished vacation rental management for investors, for homeowners. The people that we cater to the most are someone that has the property, like we just mentioned, a cottage or a second property where they don't go to it all the time. They still want to use it, once a year, twice a year, 5 times a year, whatever that is, and then we handle the in between. So our company, or my company, specializes in a complete hands-off service. So when we work with someone, it's as if you have a long-term rental. You do not have to worry about it at all. You don't get phone calls. You don't have to worry about the guest messaging. You don't have to worry about the optimization, the payments, the issues, any of that. It is, you give it to us. You get a check every month essentially, and then that's all you have to worry about. And that kind of came from my family. We have a small cottage that in Prince Edward County. Very fortunate that our family has one. And when I was younger, we would use it all the time. And then as I got older, I didn't use it as much. I no longer live there. There aren't kids that are family that goes to use it. So we started renting out that cottage little bit by little bit. And it was just helping manage that. We then turned our own property, my wife and I, our own property into an Airbnb, a short term rental, and then from that we've just kind of grown from there. We showed a few people that I knew within my sphere that looking to have their property rented out, whether they or had a manager that they weren't happy with, or just they tried to do it on their own and realized that it was too much of a headache. And that's usually the call we get is someone, they try it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and they're like, it's just not worth my time to have to deal with the 11 o'clock. How do you flush a toilet, or how do you plunge a toilet call kind of thing. So we've grown there over the last few years.
No, I'm with you there. We do the same thing for the long term, right? As an investor, it should
Yeah.
be passive. You shouldn't have to worry about these types of things. We all do what it is that we do in our work lives, and why we want to add to that when we could have more time with family. I mean, I always said, let the experts be the experts and do what you do. Let them do what you do, or what they do. Sorry.
Some great advice there.
Yeah. Again, so you mentioned a small little challenge dealing with phone calls late at night and different types of noises like that. But what are some other major things that homeowners would face or investors would face as a Airbnb short-term rental?
Yeah, so I guess there's when you're looking at renting your place out on Airbnb. And when I say Airbnb, that is a term that is for anything, any platform you're using. That's the most common one. There's so many other platforms. There's on platform, off platform, but I'll just say Airbnb. It's simple. So when you're renting it on Airbnb, there's the proper way to do it, and then there's I'm just getting it up and getting some money. So there's a big difference of just putting it up and hoping some money comes in. And then when you do it the proper way, your prices properly, you're optimized online. Everyone's heard of, or most people have heard of, search engine optimization, SEO, to make sure that it is presented in the best way possible. So I would say some of the first challenges are people not getting bookings. And 6 years ago, you could have a tent in your backyard and make thousands of dollars because there was no properties, there was no inventory online, and really just anybody could make money because there was no inventory. And now everyone has seen the potential of income that you can make, and so the standard has increased significantly. And if just someone goes to rent their property and doesn't understand what the standard is in their area, because every standard is a little bit different, the pictures or how many bedrooms or the appliances, the amenities, they can get no bookings even if they have a beautiful place because it's not presented properly. Similarly, you're in the real estate space. If someone has a listing and all they have is one photo of the bathroom, the chance of getting showings, even if it's a beautiful home, is going to be minimal. So that's like, I'm in a lot of groups with other management companies, and there will be some people they're individuals that'll come up. Hey, I've gotten no bookings for 8 months. What's my problem? And that's becoming more and more common. And there's multiple things that could account to that, from pricing being off. The photos could not be presenting the property well. You could not have the right amenities or any mix of those things. It's just one of them.
Yeah, no, no, I think that's huge. Marketing, right? How
Yeah.
to get it out there proper, how to showcase the right things, and a great comparison to a listing, right? And stuff like that. And it's exactly true. When we're looking online, photos show you, do I like it? Do I not?
Yeah.
How do I take that next step, right? They're very, very, very important. You mentioned Muskokas.
Yes.
Muskokas, when I think about it, all cottages up there, millions of dollars.
Yep.
It's just one of those very expensive to get into. But you mentioned Prince Edward County. I'm assuming cottages out there are cheaper, more affordable, different price points. Where we were up in the Kawarthras.
Yep.
I know there's stuff down by Grand Bend. I know that there's other cottage areas outside Windsor that my brother mentioned. So really, there's cottage areas all across the province. So I would assume this makes sense in all different types of markets and price points for that investor, right? They don't just have to think about the traditional up to 400 into Muskokas, Bracebridge, Huntsville, Perry Sound, etc.
Exactly, and that's really anywhere. And that's one of the wonderful things about Airbnb and all these platforms is you're able to rent your cottage in somewhere that may not be as familiar to most people because of this platform. Because you could just go on, search something with waterfront, and it'll show you everything. Here's the budget I have everywhere. So anywhere that you have waterfront, or I mean, when I say cottage, I think of waterfront, but there are some that are just water adjacent and stuff like that. But Prince Edward County, yeah, there are a bunch of properties. Prince Edward County actually brings up another, I won't say a problem, but Something that you as a potential investor want to think about is licensing. So um, not every township or city or area has licensing requirements. Prince Edward County is one of them. So in each of the postal or in each of the little townships in Prince Edward County, there's only a maximum allowable short-term rentals licenses. So you can't just go in and buy something and put it on Airbnb without a license, and they're not giving out licenses anymore. So the only way to actually buy an Airbnb or buy a short-term rental in Prince Edward County is to buy one that's already existing. And so that's something that another challenge that I actually just had a phone call with someone recently. They bought something with the intention of Airbnbing it in Prince Edward County, and no one told them that they weren't able to Airbnb it. And so, really, you got to do your due diligence of making sure you're buying in the right spot, because it's no longer just, oh, I want to do it, I can do it. It's really cracked down. But anywhere with water, you can put it up as long as you get the requirements of whatever the licensing is.
That's another example right there of working with professionals because of their knowledge that you're not going to carry, right? That's really what it is. Um, I know in our world, again, on the management side, a lot of different things that we do to make landlords' lives easier. Um, what is it that you guys do on the main course to make the difference for that investor of the cottage rental? Yeah.
And a great question. And so, what I'm about to say is like these are all of the things that you as a an owner should do. And then we handle all of it. So I never want to pretend like someone can't do it. But there are a lot of steps. So we handle everything I'm about to mention. So the first thing is doing your research with pricing. So we use a pricing tool that is manually set. And we'll check our competitors. We usually use about 10 competitor properties in the area and check that 3 times a week, because prices change every day. Just like hotel, if you ever go to book a hotel, tomorrow will be different than 4 days from now. Or flights, for example. Your flight, depending on when you purchase a flight, it can be different. So we always want to make sure that we're cheaper than someone that's nicer than us, but we're more expensive than cottages or properties that are not as nice of us. So pricing optimization is a big one. We handle that. There's a lot of people that will just set one price for the whole week. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're probably leaving money on the table if you're not checking it consistently. Um, the second thing is handling the actual setup, photos, optimization of the property. So you buy a property, you've never lived in it before, you have to furnish it completely. There's a difference between furnishing it for you wanting to stay in it and furnishing it to be presentable on Airbnb. I don't know if the last time you've gone on Airbnb, but you can select like 60 different things that you want in your Airbnb. Do you want a blender? Do you want Wi-Fi? Do you want laundry? And every additional amenity that you can check off will increase your search optimization within the Airbnb platform. So making sure that it's presented in the best light possible, even coming down to the title. The title of your Airbnb makes a big difference. The first 5 photos, so knowing what photos are good. So this is all just kind of like getting it ready to be put online. Um, and then handling the day to day of the property. So I joke with people that are asking about it, like it seems pretty easy, and it's like, yeah, it's easy until it's not. And what I mean by that is you can have a property that's going really really well. Guests can be easy; they don't need anything because you can set up automated messages for check in, check out, checking in with them halfway through their stay. But all of a sudden, there's a hole in the roof, and now you have to deal with that, and that can take up your whole day. Because with a long-term tenant, maybe hole in the roof is a bad example, but a long-term tenant, they say the oven isn't working properly. Perfect. I'm going to get someone there, and as soon as I can. But it's not like usually it doesn't have to be today. Most tenants understand that someone isn't going to be there today. As long as they're within a couple days, you're usually on good terms with them. In an Airbnb, someone or a furnished rental, cottage rental, um, they could be there for 2 days, 3 days. And every minute or every hour that goes by that their amenity isn't working is a huge deal. And so you really need to get on it now, and your whole day can be gone dealing with that one problem. One of the reasons we take on these cottages is like we have a team set up to handle these messages because you have a career, or you have a job, you're hanging with your family, you want to do whatever you want to do with your time, and to stop and have to just spend your whole day worrying about an oven is not an ideal situation, even for the money that you can potentially bring in. And then I think the last thing that I would say is just things go wrong. Um, it's unfortunate, but things can go wrong, whether it's an accidental break or someone trashes your place. Airbnb specifically, as well as VRBO, have insurance, and you used to be able to I want to say this lightly, but like get away with anything. You could say they broke whatever your pillow is this, and they would give you 100% of whatever you asked for. They are seriously cracking down now, where you have to have time stamped photos with it being shown from your phone. You have to show receipts, and there's a certain way to be able to present to them to get the money back. And if you don't know how to dance the dance, they're going to walk all over you because if they have it's not a normal insurance company. It's essentially, if you don't give us what we say, we're going to say no.
Yep. You got to prove that it was not broken before that visit
it,
and everything like
it,
that. And
exactly. And before that visit, as in like 10 minutes before they started, kind of thing. Like it's not 4 days before, it's not 6 days before. It's like you have to have photo evidence the day of them checking in, which is a big thing that we do with our cleaners. And this is, again, like anyone that rents out their property, you should be doing this, making sure you're taking photos of everything you can um, after everyone checks out, before everyone checks in.
yeah, so their short term is way different again than long term, right? We have our walk in, walk outs as well, same type of thing. We have issues that we're going to have to deal with. It sounds like you guys are similar to us, where you guys take care of 98% of everything, and the 2% you need from your clients is approvals of something that needs to get done, and then getting paid for
Yeah.
what was done,
That's
right?
that's it. Exactly.
No, that's excellent. I like that. I'm with you on that. I think our clients should be able to be as hands off as they choose to be, and we can take care of everything. We have some people like, don't bother me for this, but only bother me for if it's that. They have their price points, I guess, their pain points where they want to be engaged or where they want you to just handle it because it's okay. And we know we have to do this. Just take care of it. We'll deal with it later. I'm a potential homeowner right now. I'm sorry. I am a homeowner right now. I'm looking to buy a investment property, and I'm weighing my options between a long-term rental in the city versus a cottage short-term rental. Other than the one I said where I get to use it
Yeah.
as well as rent it out, what would be your pitch to an investor about why that's a better investment than something long-term? Is there money, and like what is the financials behind it? How does all that break down? And I guess we
Yeah.
can't compare apples to apples with this, but you know what I'm trying to get at. What
I
is your pitch as to
totally
why to
do.
go?
And my question would always be like, why are you thinking a cottage? Is my biggest thing. Like, is it purely investment? You have no intention of going and using it, or do you also want it because you're going to use it? Because that's two totally different scenarios. Because like, I can find you cottages that will make significantly more money than your a long term in the city, but it's probably, I don't want to say it's not where you are, because I don't know where you are, but like it may not be an area that you want to go to because it's too far away. So these smaller markets that you were talking about, like in the Bancroft area, for example, that's from Toronto. That's a 3-ish hour drive, and not a lot of people, they kind of want to stay within 2 hours. Two-ish hours, I find, for cottages, maybe three, depending on it. So if I can find you a cottage that's 4 or 5 hours away, but it makes you a ton of money, is that something you want to look at versus something that you also want to use part term? Like, is it a lifestyle investment or an investment?
I'm with you there too.
Yeah,
That's you got to know what it is what because if I'm going to be using it, there's certain things I'm going to want versus if I'm never going to use it, I really don't care. It just becomes about money.
exactly.
I 100% agree with that.
So with that, that's really the only two questions I have. You can make more money because it's a, do I want to make money or do I want to pay my bills? That's what it comes down to. Like, do I want to break even for the year and use it, or maybe make a little bit of money, or is it about making money? That's all I care about.
No, again, it's about
Yeah.
guidance, advice, consultation. It sounds like you're doing all of those things. I look forward to continuing to get to know you and stuff like that. I think we're going to do another episode
Yeah.
as well based on our other conversations. So look out for that, folks. But do you have anything that you want to leave on a last little message to send out there to maybe a potential or anybody? And folks, like always, Brad's information will be popped up throughout the episode afterwards in the bio links or whatever our team does behind the scenes to make all that happen. And if you can't somehow find that, reach out to us and we'll make sure you get connected with Brad as well. But any last words?
Yeah, one final thing. A lot of conversations I have recently are how can we get a property up for the least amount of money? And I would say for a vacation rental, that is unfortunately not the right way to do it. Whether you have a professional manager or not, you need to look at what's around, what are comparable properties around you, and if everyone is spending $90,000 on furnishings and amenities, and you spend 50, it's not like you're going to get like a little bit less money. You're going to get significantly less money to the point of not breaking even. So really do your homework of it's not just about buying the property, making sure that you have the amount of money you need to invest to be able to compete, or you're going to be dead in the water these days.
Excellent. No, that's definitely, again, back to knowledge, right?
Yeah,
Making sure you're getting the proper information so that you can make the best decision for yourself in your specific situation. Because
exactly.
we're as individual as our fingerprints. I say that all the time, right?
Yeah,
Some like this and some like that.
yeah.
But thanks so much, Brad. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time today. We will definitely talk again. And everybody out there, thanks so much for listening. Bye for
Thanks,
now.
Kevin.
Please remember, while we are professionals, this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The advice shared may not apply to your unique situation. Always seek personalized advice from a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're finding it informative and useful, make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend so that we can keep getting the information out there to Ontario landlords. And keep on joining us. We'll see you next time.